Move to approve the minutes of April 7th, 2026.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Review of the agenda, Mr. McPherson, do we have anything to add?
No, sir.
Thank you. We'll move down to public comments. Madam Clerk, will you go ahead and play the policies and procedures for our public comments?
Respond to comments, questions, or concerns raised during the public comment period. Audience members who wish to speak should raise your hand to be called upon by the chairman, or virtual participants use the raise hand feature. Come to the podium or public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. The chairman will indicate when your allowed time has lapsed. In the interest of running an orderly meeting, we ask that you do not duplicate comments made by a previous speaker. Instead, please simply confirm your agreement with previous statements. When appropriate, the commissioners may refer an item identified during public comments to the county administrator for further action. Please note that if the speaker intends to give commissioners any records of any kind as a part of a presentation, the records must be handed directly to the clerk of the board for distribution.
Going once, going twice, see no takers. We'll move on to Crosser. Anybody in Crosser that would like to make a comment, please stand to come up to the podium and say your name and address for the record. Thank you. Oh, hold on one second, Mark. I think we cannot hear you. Just give me 1 second. We'll look at ITs and where do you go?
Now?
Yes, it's working now. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, commissioners. My name is Marcy Tues, and again, I am here today to make you aware of the things that are happening in our community. I don't know if you guys realize how hard it is for someone that has been through domestic violence the way that I have been to come up here and speak. I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking on behalf of the community. I'm speaking on behalf of your own children. You guys will not be in those seats forever. And guess who will be here? I will still be here, and the whole community that's here to make you aware of these things will still be here for many, many years, hopefully. And we're here to protect your kids too, and hopefully your kids' kids one day. So I want to make you aware today of a strategy that is being used by local attorneys. Judges know that this is being used, and it's called the silver bullet. The silver bullet is when a parent is falsely accused of crimes to take children away. Today I'm going to read Robert Kitty's review to Mrs. Jennifer Lacoste law firm. For anyone wanting to look into the details of this case, in the case of Kitty versus Kitty, Ms. Lacoste opened the case by encouraging my wife to file a false restraining order to get me out of my home and try to establish custody of our son. The judge denied the restraining order at the first hearing and established 50-50 custody immediately. This sets the momentum of the custody in my favor. Ms. Lacoste then fired my ex-wife as a client. My trial just concluded and my son is now with me full time, with my wife being on supervised visits.
do so, certain actions that you can take within your role. You comment about having us contact the proper authorities. That's what we need to do. I tell you what, we've already done that. Okay. Why do you think that everybody is here talking to you now? It's because we have. It's because more needs to be done. And when I titled that email urgent, I wasn't joking. Every time that there's court, these actions are taking place, as Ms. Torres just explained to you. Right away, just last week, another action. And it is illegal. Improper ruling, improper rules being violated, and actions by the attorneys that are complicit. But I got to say, with you folks right there, you're financing those actions. You guys are financing this, and taking no action makes you complicit. You've made this adversarial. At this point, when you sit there and say, we're going to listen, but you're not going to get the help that you think you're going to get. I reject that. That you are there for very specific reasons, and much is expected of you in the role that you have. You can't deny that. You're in a county commissioner's position for what purpose? You're to hear public comment but not do anything? No, that's not it. Okay, you do have actions that you can take, having these meetings so that the public can come and present their concerns, their issues, the problems that they're having with official lines that are not operating properly, that are within your jurisdiction. You do need to act. Franklin County has decided that they're going to do a workshop and they're going to bring in people for this and go over it. We're having meetings with our legislators. Those are pending right now, already on the books and scheduled. This isn't going away. We're going to continue to file complaints and we're going to continue to show up. And I really appreciate it, gentlemen, if I would get a response from you about what you decide that you'd like to take a participation in. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else online would like to make a public comment? Robert, do you see anybody? All right, thank you very much. The time is 9:13. We'll go ahead and close out public comments and we'll go down to the consent agenda. And do I have approval of the consent agenda motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda items A through R.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. We'll move down to a public hearing. We do have one for a short plat vacation in reference to SPV 2026-001. Morgan and Damian Harper, our planning manager, is here to go ahead and present on that.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Damian Hooper, Benton County Planning. Commissioners, the Planning Division received the application SPV 2026-001 on behalf of Byron Morgan, seeking to vacate a portion of a 10-foot utility easement along the southern boundary of Lot 2 of short plat number 3790 to accommodate the construction of a single-family home and associated infrastructure. The map being displayed has the subject easement highlighted in yellow. The proposed vacation would exclude the westernmost 145 feet of the easement, which is also depicted on the map as a hatched area to the west, to accommodate an existing irrigation line that's in that area that serves the property to the south. Planning Division sent this application to adjoining property owners and agencies with jurisdiction, received no comments that would warrant not approving the vacation. As such, Planning Division's recommending approval of the vacation. Turn it over to you for any questions.
Commissioner Delvin. Commissioner McKay. All right, we'll just go ahead and open it up for public hearing and public comment. The time is 9:15. And do I have anybody in here in Kennewick for public comment in reference to this item? Seeing none, we'll go to the Prosser office. Anybody in Prosser? Seeing none, anybody online? We see nobody online, so we'll go ahead and close out public comment on this issue on 9:15. And do I have a motion?
Yep, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the vacation of a 10-foot utility easement located along the southern property line of Lot 2 of short plat 3790, excluding the westernmost 145 feet.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right, we'll move down. We got quite a few items on scheduled business, and the first one is District Court update. And Commissioner Johnson?
Yes,
will be presenting.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we're referencing district court.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners and Administrator. I'm Jennifer Johnson. I am the District Court Commissioner that's been in this position for about a year. I'm happy to be here this morning and just give you some updates. Just a few things to talk to you about this morning. First of all, we are in the midst of our transition with the new computer system. This is a system that's, you've probably heard Judge Bell talk about before. It's been a big deal for us. We're about 3 weeks into daily trainings. We've had staff go to Olympia for a few weeks to train, and now they're coming back. The office where they train in is across the hallway from my office. So I see teams of people come in and out for all of last week, this week. We've got about 3 more weeks to go before it's implemented. This is going to be a big thing for our staff and all of the employees to learn a new system that is something that they're used to for the last 30 years. So maybe 20. I think it's been about since the 90s, since we've had the previous system that we're using. So I know Judge Bell is presiding, Assistant Presiding Judge Azure. The entire court administrative team has worked really hard and together for the last few months to make sure that this transition goes very smoothly and that everyone is successful in that transition. So we're well on the way into that. Everyone's a little stressed. Everyone's spread a little thin, but we're getting everything done that we need to do, business as usual in district court. We very much appreciate you allowing us to close the Prosser office for a few weeks. That's been instrumental in allowing that staff to come and get trained and be able to get that office back up and running as quickly as possible. So we do appreciate that. So next, I want to talk to you about the therapeutic court updates that we have. We had a really exciting last week, I believe it's just last week, we had an update and in mental health court, we had a 10-year anniversary with them, and then also their 200th graduate. And so that was very well attended by both the community. We had some HR people there, which we really much appreciated their support between the different departments too. A few news crews came. It was just a huge success for everyone. And I think just speaks to the success of that program. We really are leading the area and leading the state in our therapeutic courts, and everyone working together just works so well, and we're really able to do some great impact for the community with that. So that's going on there. The next thing is courtroom security. That is just the best thing ever. So before I was in this position, I was a pro tem judge in different courts for about 10, 15 years. And I will tell you, I know our courtroom security is newer in the last year or so. And that's, you guys really made that happen for us. And we very, very much appreciate that. They are just so important and so helpful, I think, to our court. I just had an incident about 2 weeks ago where I was on the traffic docket, and that docket tends to be, you get the most disgruntled people coming in for their infractions, it seems like. And I had a gentleman that was in there, and he came in hot, and he just got hotter as the conversation happened and the hearing happened. And he didn't want to leave, and and then it got outside of traffic. So then he's bringing up other issues he has with the legal system, with different staff, with different judges. And it could have gotten out of control. And then all of a sudden I see a second security. I had my regular security officer to the left of me. And then I see a second security officer just walk in the back, and he just stood about 3 feet behind this individual and instantly just diffused the situation. And he instantly, he didn't get any more ramped up, and he just kind of stood there. We were able to finish the hearing, and he left, and the security officer just walked out right behind him, and it was done, and it was over with. And I think that made me feel very safe. It made my clerk feel very safe. And then also I think it's just a really good example for the community, everyone else in the courtroom, that our officers have this under control, that they are going to be there to help anything. They work very well with our police officers that they can call. There's a very good system that when they need them, they can call them in to do their steps if it rises to that occasion. So it's going well. We very, very much appreciate that. So The next thing to tell you is our facilities was able to update a little bit of our district court area, and that's also been something that's really been beneficial, I think, for everybody. We got new carpet, the hallways got painted down one of those hallways, and those are just the little things that we really appreciate. It does, I think, help for staff to see that they feel seen, they feel appreciated by having some updated just areas even to be in when they're there for their work. So we do appreciate that. Shout out to HR. HR came to the mental health court graduation and ceremony last week. And I think that for all of us judges and myself as commissioner, that really helps solidify a team sense and a team grouping of behavior between our county, between the different departments in our county. And we really appreciate that. We really support that. We love to see the support and the help and the assistance. They're always, if we ever need them for HR issues, they're always very quick to respond, very knowledgeable and very helpful. So we wanted to make sure that they knew how much we appreciate them and their involvement in our district court. Last is, I'll end on a personal note. Like I kind of mentioned, I've been in this position for about a year. It probably actually was about a year ago that I was here with Judge Bell introducing myself. And this has been just an incredible opportunity for me, and I think an incredible support for the district court as well. So I'm somebody that it's a 20-hour-a-week position, but my hours are able to be flexible, and it really has helped us not have to use pro tem judges as much as before. And I know that because I used to be the pro tem judge that they would call and have me come in. And so it's very rare now that we do have to call a pro tem judge in. And so I like to think of my position as being helpful and useful to district court judges. There's a lot of judges, a lot of different schedules, and we have a lot of jurisdictions to cover in district court. And it's a high volume court with a lot of cases. And so they're able to put me where they need me, when they need me. And so I think it's just really helped district court run smoother and more efficiently and effectively over the last year. So I appreciate that and just wanted to be here today to express that to you guys and give you some updates. So that's everything I have today. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I read your, the court report you put out, the district court. It came a little late this year, but that's fine. I noticed that the trends were that they were starting to seem the infractions and stuff were starting to go up a little bit. So more enforcement's being done out there. That was good to see that because the revenue certainly had been down for a long time, even before COVID. It's just that, the state legislature, what they've done on collections and stuff like that. So that was good to see. But I really do appreciate that report every year, just to look at the trends that are happening in the traffic world and such. So I appreciate that.
Great. If you ever want to know more, just let us know.
No, I totally agree with you, Commissioner Delvin. And I remember 3 years ago, I had a conversation. I think I was invited to go to the district court judges meeting, I think at 7:30 on a Friday. I think I went to 2 or 3 of those. And it was a learning experience, and I heard a lot of concerns, and I'm glad to hear, I think Judge Saburo had come up here a while back. He had a lot of concerns as well. I remember Judge Bell was kind of the mediator and all that. And I'm happy to hear that, courtroom security and everything else has been done and everything's running efficiently there. And like I said, we're here to support you. And I hope that from 3 years ago to now, it sounds like it's definitely improved. So thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
All right, the next one here, I got to put my glasses. I got to glare from the windows here. Next one will be interlocal agreement between the city of Kennewick, city of Richland, and Benton County, Washington for the 2025 Byron Justice Assistance Grant. And Lieutenant Erickson. Oh, actually, it's going to be. I'm looking here, but I'm looking down, and it looks like Sheriff Clark will be presenting.
You can't read his shirt right there.
I'm reading on the computer. Sheriff Clark will be presenting.
Yeah, so you guys have the JAG grant in front of you guys today. This is the annual JAG grant that we receive. We split it with the local agencies. It goes through the city of Kennewick. Historically, we've bought in one-time purchases through this. It's been used for various number of things, anything from different types of equipment, ballistic helmets, those types of things in the past. This year, we are moving to a software program. The software program is something that allows for not only information gathering as far as how we're able to compile information, but also better communication and information sharing during incidents, not only within the county, but within the region and large events. Kennewick has had this program for going on a year now. We've used it in various events that we have with more multi-jurisdictional efforts, water follies, river fire. The SWAT team uses it. And so the ability to put information into there, share information, retain the information, then not only that, but on the back end of things during PDRs and those types of things, and as well as prosecution, it's able to be added to the case file. And then one central location for all of this information, all of these work processes, messages, check this residence, did these things, and some of these other things that you'll see now is all accessible in one location for our PDR clerks. So it is an ongoing cost because we would enter into a contract. What we're doing here is trying to pay for the first year. It'll be depending upon how long the service agreement is that we enter into. It'll either be just under the JAG amount or just over. But with that, we have also cut some software programs and already had funding identified for this. And so what we're utilizing this JAG grant for now is actually some cost savings out of this budget so that we can use it here and then reallocate that money later down the road from the cost savings of cutting some other software. So one of the things that we're trying to do is leverage our technology and software programs within the department to make our guys more efficient, less redundancies, and able to do their job quicker and more efficiently for the public. And so this is just one of those ways of doing that.
Commissioner McKay?
No question.
You did?
Oh, no, go.
Okay, I have to ask this question. As far as you cutting other software potentially, is it going to be closer to, because we're going into a biannual budget. If I don't do that, I'm going to have two administrators looking at me later. And I know all the departments from the other elected offices, as we're going to biannual budgets, are going to ask me the same question. How do you feel? Do you think it'll be closer to a budget neutral type thing, or what do you think the overhead?
This here ultimately would be cost savings. The software program that we identified that we are not utilizing or doesn't justify what we're spending it for and has just a fraction of use. Cutting that is actually more than what the annual cost is here. So overall, the 1-for-1, even after the JAG grant, it's still a cost savings in our budget.
And I apologize, Sheriff. I know you said that earlier, but I wanted you to reiterate it so that all the other elected officials in the county could hear it as well, as we're going to a biannual budget.
You put me on the spot to be hated by the rest of them.
No, you're doing the right thing. I appreciate it. So at that point in time, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the chairman or chairman pro tem to sign the interlocal agreement with the 2024 Burn Justice Assistant Grant.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Sheriff. You know I had to ask. All right, the next one here is, and I apologize, my screen is pretty whited out from the window screen here, or the window. Next one is Benton County Design Build Certification Approval, and Robert Blaine will be presenting.
Thank you, John. I kind of wrote out my thoughts, so I make sure I stick to all the technical detail. A little background. Benton County started our first design build project in 2021. The Juvenile Justice Center remodel. To understand the progressive design build process, we've reached out to 2 local agencies who had success completing PDB projects. Through this entry point, we now have 5 progressive design build projects in various stages of construction. These include the Columbia Valley Center for Recovery, Juvenile Justice Center project, the Justice Center HVAC upgrades, the Fairgrounds Arena project, and the Courthouse HVAC upgrades project. The current process spelled out in RCW 3910 to utilize a PDB process requires the agency to apply to the Washington State Project Review Committee for authorization. Our team, Riley Olero, Danica Hope, and I have been successful 5 times with no denials. After applying to our 5th project and having 2 other projects in the completion phase, the team submitted to the state to become a certified agency per RCW 3910-270. This is an extensive application process where the project review committee evaluates our previous projects, team experience, processes, procedures, and structure. The project review committee consists of 33 members. Sorry, I was going to share my screen real quick. So the project review committee consists of 33 members that represent a variety of organizations from public agencies, owner representatives, labor, design, and contractors. 23 members were part of our agency review. All seem to be surprised at the size and staffing levels of Benton County and our capacity to handle the size and volume of projects. This is reflected in the written comments from the panel on the PRC website. With the certification, Benton County becomes a part of a very small group of 18 certified agencies and is the first county to be certified. We're excited to receive this certification and can now select projects internally without obtaining PRC approval for the use of the progressive design build delivery method. Certification is valid for the next 3 years, at which time we need to apply for recertification. I'd like to thank the procurement staff, Danica, Felicia, Madison, and our construction manager, Riley Olero, all of who have been amazing putting in the work to achieve this goal. County administration and the Board of County Commissioners for giving us the opportunity to support to pursue the alternate delivery method. And to focus a little bit more on that, I received several questions from agencies about how did we obtain the board's support. And I think through this process, the board has been very aligned with what we are trying to accomplish. And I feel that the projects that we have been working on have delivered the county a huge benefit. Any questions?
Commissioner McKay?
Just how we've been doing since we did this pushing to do this time material type project. How are we doing budget wise? Are these contractors being honest where they're under budget?
Yeah, we've had a great experience with the bulk of our contractors. There are those times it's construction.
Yeah.
There's times it's tense, but our projects are coming in under budget, and we're able to take those funds and put them back into what we call buying betterments, which are additional improvements for the projects.
Yeah, and I get it. Like if they were doing a remodel, sometimes they might be over budget, but if they're doing new construction and stuff, yeah, they should always be under budget and stuff. So that's why I was pushing for this to just, the contractors need to make money, but be honest how they're making money. And so I'm glad we're doing it this way.
Well, yeah, thank you, Mr. I would just say, and appreciate Robert and his staff for all the work they've done. We first started on this project here, I think when we built this new admin building. I can't remember who and staff came or how it was suggested that we look at that design build process, but ever since then, the county has accepted that and used that for our bigger projects. I think in the last 7-8 years, we've $60 million we've put into construction on, and probably when we're finished, it'll be about that. That we've, haven't used bonds, haven't went to the taxpayers and asked for money. We just within our resources have saved money and built these projects to help the county grow in the future, because our population is growing. But no, that design build, I think, has definitely been a win-win for the county, but also the taxpayers. And so this process, I think, has been very beneficial in a lot of ways.
Yeah, Commissioner, I think I may say the numbers, I think, are about $80 million in the last 5 years.
80 million, okay.
We've been able to do that through grants and internal funding. So
right.
Very, very impressive.
Yeah. I remember you saying that now, because we did do it when we were building this building. We got some change order that was, I can't remember the exact amount, but I'm like, the change order should only been like, 3/4 of the cost, or half the cost of what they got changed. So that's why I was pushing to do time material to let the contractors just be honest with, again, me being a contractor, I get change orders, but be honest about it and, be fair about it basically. So that's why I pushed it forward too. Like what you said, Commissioner Delvin, is, it's all for the community, and just the cheapest way we can do it is the best way we're doing it right now.
Well, I'll say this real quick, Robert. I'm going to give credit where I'm like, Robert and county administration, your staff have been amazing on this. And a lot of these projects started even before I was here. And I think you guys really used and leveraged funding and taxpayers' money in the best possible way. You used grant funding, you used ARPA funds when other county, I believe you used ARPA funds too. And that's one-time money. I know that there's other counties, neighboring counties, that were using ARPA funds to hire additional employees. Well, that doesn't, and now they're in deficits because of that. That's ongoing, continuing cost. We used it right for the infrastructure. You guys planned it out right. We created different projects in here, and we created jobs, construction jobs, economic development, the recovery center. We created jobs. It's going to help people go ahead and help to get recovered from mental health and substance abuse there, but there's also our jobs there, economic growth. So you guys have planned it very well. There's a lot of big projects you have had under your belt, and continue. We're going to start closing those out. So I have to give credit to your staff, to county administration, to the two county commissioners here. I don't know about those two too much, but I'm sorry. I'm going to pay for that later.
Better fisherman.
I knew something was going to come, but appreciate everything we've done. Once again, did it smart, did it efficient, and we did good economic development, created jobs at the same time. So thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, next one, you're still going to be in that seat. Next one is to be authorization to proceed with Fairgrounds Building facade project using the progressive design build alternative delivery method. And you're back on.
And thank you, Commissioner. So one of the things that we did to solidify our process was we had decided to bring these projects before the board for authorization to use. Since we're no longer going to PRC, we want to bring this to the board and have the board participate. So this first project right out the gate is a facade remodel at the fairgrounds, focusing on buildings 2 and 3. And the intent here is to modernize those and also seal the buildings back up. A lot of the siding was done historically through what I would say is volunteer work, and it'd be good to kind of relook at those buildings and refresh them.
And you're just going to make those more modern with the outside reskinning them more?
Reskinning,
Excuse me.
there will be some considerations to make the energy efficiency of the building due to the codes.
Mhm.
So we have to keep that in mind as well.
So it's going to look, what we're doing is we're giving it a facelift, just like with the stands up there with the buildings here. It's going to look more modern and up to date, and where people will be proud to go to with their families and friends and stuff like that. I think it's a great thing to do. Commissioner McKay?
No, I'm just glad we're doing it. And again, the rodeo arena area, the seating's awesome. And yeah, I'm just glad we're keeping it because again, the fairgrounds is a good place to be.
There's more accessible to people, that are handicapped and getting into some of those places, I believe, and the new grandstands is that correct? Yep. More compliant on that. Commissioner Delvin?
Motion.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the Facilities and Capital Assets Director to move forward with the progressive design build alternative delivery method for the Fairgrounds Building facade project.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I think was it last year, the year before we had the Beach Boys out there for the fair? Can we have the Beach Boys again out here?
That'd be that guy
What'd you
right
say?
there, Mr. French.
Oh,
Who is
Skillet? Who's that? Rock band? I know. Oh. Skillet? I've never heard of Skillet. I'll have to look him up.
It was in the news the other day.
Well, at least it's not Bad Bunny coming, so.
It's yeah, dude. Seriously.
All right, we're moving on.
It's too bad we can't get I wish we could get Snoop Dogg out there too. No diggity, no doubt.
All right. The next one is going to be the discussion regarding the Justice Center space needs and direction on path forward. And Mr. Blaine, you're back up.
One more time. So last item here. So a need has been identified to evaluate the entire Justice Center building to include buildings A and B to determine the space needs and include projections for the next 15 years. And so a little history. In 2019, a study was performed which included the clerk's office, the sheriff, and the sheriff's office. The tenant permits projects which moved the clerk's office to the second floor, created a space for the jury selection room on the first floor, and relocated OPD and district court drug court, and added space to the prosecuting attorney's office were a direct result of that study. Over the last several years, there has been additional needs and projects brought up, including Superior Court TI, Office of Public Defense TI, additional court space, administration space for both courts and BCSO. Generally, these requests are focused on a singular office and do not take the overall needs of the combined space. So today I'm asking for direction from the board to select a firm and complete a study of the Justice Center, which will project space needs for the next 15 years and develop proposed projects to accommodate the needs. Additionally, I'm asking the board to give me direction to be the main point of contact for this effort to keep the valuation in line with budgets and goals.
Commissioner McKay?
Well, I know in the past that we've done those studies and gotten some out of it and some not. I know, the sheriff's department, that's been a struggle because that's a big commitment, but we're wrapping up some projects now that may free up some monies in the future, but we certainly need to start building that fund back up, and then also maybe looking at direct appropriations for some of this stuff too from the federal and the state government, but looking for grants also. But I think it's always good to have planning, as long as those planning results in something, and we're not just a central system at planning and not getting anything done. So I'd be on board with moving forward, making sure that we're relooking at all that from what we've done in the last 14 years. I've been here 15 years. So I think it's a good step forward.
So I'm fine with it. I think that's a smart thing to do, to go as far as the planning side of it. I know we're going to have issues. I'm going to bring one up with the sheriff's office and with the reduction of caseloads for Office of Public Defense and public defenders. I know that's going to be increased. We're going to need more space for that. So I think those are really the two big ones that I can kind of see between those two offices there, and how we're going to shuffle that, or if we're going to do a new building, an additional building here on campus, or we're going to relocate it. So I think that's a smart thing to go ahead and do. I think staff can go ahead and Robert, you can put some rails on that so that they understand, not the pie in the sky type thing. They got to understand that this is how much funding we're looking at appropriating to it here in the future. And I think that would be a smart idea. Going with that, since we're on that topic, I know that the sheriff's office, there was a couple of spaces in there that were flooding on the roofs and stuff like that. They could use that space. Was it the HVAC, or when are we going to be able to go ahead and take care of those so they can actually use that, because they're busting at the seams itself?
And if you setting up a contract to do some structural improvements above them, so we can replace the drains that we believe are the ones that are the culprit for leaking. And so let's take a little bit of time to get in place. We got the engineering back. We just need to get a contractor on board to get them moving. What do you think the estimated time frame is from beginning to end, just estimated? With both because once we do the replacement of the drains, we'll have to do an overlayment in that rec yard. So it's probably going to be 6 months. Okay. Sheriff, there you go. They got your answer. All right. Anything else? All right. And based off that, Mr. Blaine, I appreciate your time for your presentations. Commissioner McKay, anything?
Thank you,
Delvin.
Oh, I just said, tell Robert, thank his staff. Hey, some of them are here. Other business?
Yes.
I know, we had that one public comment about that email that was sent. I asked it to be looked at. Because it kind of maybe looked like a records request. So we need to do, make sure it's not a records request, because we're under law, we have a bunch of obligations to fulfill. Doesn't look like it is, but, working with our civil attorney response, because some of the things asked in that request are way out of our authority. We don't have the authority. I mean, I don't know how many times I've read the RCWs when it comes to county. There's no authority in there do any of this. It's the separation of powers. I don't know why people don't understand the basics of the state constitution, the federal constitution. But clearly in our state constitution, it talks about the courts and and stuff, but also the laws. I couldn't find any authority anywhere in the RCWs. I'd be curious if that person has some kind of knowledge that they know something that certainly know, that, I mean, I've spent what, 30 years, over 30 years in law enforcement as she's former law enforcement. And in 20 years in the state legislature, I've read RCWs all my life. I understand RCWs. I'm not an attorney, don't pretend to be an attorney, but most RCWs, you can read them and understand what they are. So, if we want to put a joint response back to that person, that's fine. The other thing is that, this Friday we have the ribbon cutting for the recovery center. And I hope people will show up for that. I think it's a big event for our community. To able to put this place together and have a community asset to treat mental health and drug addiction. So I think this is a great day. It'll be a great day for our community. And I think May is Mental Health Month. So keep that in mind too. But next week you and I are attending that Energy Community Alliance meeting on new nuclear. So that we'll be calling in remote for that, but for the next week's meeting. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Delvin. I just want to go ahead and say once again to Mr. Blaine's team, I see Riley and some staff there. Thank you for what you do, because I know those are a lot of projects. It takes a lot of time, and you're having to deal with a lot of moving parts with contractors, subcontractors, et cetera, and a lot of money there. So thank you for what you do. District Court, happy to go ahead and thank you for the presentation stuff, and hopefully we just keep on rolling in a positive direction. Sheriff, appreciate you and your presentation as well, and hopefully you got your answer on that. I know you were wanting to know more about that. Other than that, I thank you for all of you coming, all staff here and attending. So I'm going to go ahead and from that I'm going to move on to the back, and I see our Benton County Treasurer there, Mr. Spencer. Do you have anything that you'd like to say? And then I would go to the Benton County Sheriff. Mike Clark, you have anything to say? And then I see our Benton County Auditor, Brenda Chilton, and she has nothing to say as well. And I can't see. And right in the back there, between the two heads there, we have our county clerk. Do you have anything to say, Ms. Delvin? All right. Anybody else? Am I missing anybody where the heads are there? I can't see. With that being said, the time is.
Administrator.
Do you have something to say, Mr. McPherson?
Actually, I do.
Oh, you know what? That's a rare thing to go ahead and see that.
So we would like to invite everybody, if they have time, to stay after the meeting to celebrate Commissioner Delvin's birthday, which is tomorrow, actually. We're going to have some refreshments come in. So if you have time to stay after the meeting, please do so.
Wait. When you say refreshments, you mean Chick-fil-A?
I had that at lunch yesterday. With that being said, everybody have a good day, great week. Thank you for attending. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.